Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Well, happy Wednesday, the 10th of August, 2022. We've got a lot to go over in the video today. Two things for the intro. First, we do a pre-dawn flight along the west side of General Assembly. Try to look into the windows. Hope you enjoy that. And second, Giga Wow. What is wow? As you can see by this image, Tesla has a wow yard. So let's discuss a little bit more.
So many of you that have been watching the videos are very well aware of the east yard area where all of these trailers are, and I would like to discuss a little bit about what they are, how they function, and how they are used at Giga-Texas. Specifically, what is a warehouse on wheels, how does that system work, and can this explain why Giga-Texas has a lot fewer loading docks as opposed to what we see at Giga Shanghai and Giga Berlin? I believe the answer is yes. So let's discuss a little bit more. The warehouse on wheel concept has been around for a while and is used in many industries and is specifically being used here at Giga-Texas for the final mile delivery operations that happen with the production parts and supplies. By doing this way, they save millions of dollars in warehousing costs. They save about 50% reduction in the number of touches of the products, which helps reduce the amount of damage that may happen, and it eliminates hours worth of delivery time per truck drivers per day, so it makes it much more efficient. You can see the link at the bottom of the screen. It will be in the video description as well if you'd like more additional information, but I have a lot here, so let's talk a little bit more about what warehouse on wheel can do. As you see here, there is no cross-docking, which means that multiple trucks already loaded en route are quickly swapped out with trailers that are empty at the point of delivery, and this helps to speed up the process of delivering products to, in this case, Giga-Texas. Next, there's a large reduction in what they call windshield time, which is the amount of time that drivers are just sitting in their trucks waiting to deliver or pick up items. In this case, they bring the loaded trailers to Giga-Texas, they just swap them out for empty trailers and then head off, and there's no need for them to wait around. This is a very flexible concept, so as the amount of volume of production supplies ebbs and flows, they can change pretty quickly, and they don't have to use valuable real estate inside of the factory to store supplies that may not be needed at that time. So let's walk through an example of how this works. Up to 4 truck bodies per trailer are loaded up at the central distribution center, and they're loaded through one dock door at the same time, so you don't have to load all 4 with 4 different docks, so it speeds that up. Then all of these truck bodies are line hauled to the remote location, in this case Giga-Texas, and then they're swapped with empty containers that are already there, and those are what we see at the warehouse on wheels yard on the east side. And then these empty containers are just picked up and removed from the site, and they're transported or line hauled right back to the suppliers. In this case, the truck drivers do not have to wait around for delivery times or any other things that may delay them, and it greatly increases the efficiency. And then at Giga-Texas, we've seen yard trucks that are used, and these are called the last mile delivery, if you will. And these are the trucks that are stationed here at Giga-Texas. We see all the time moving all the trailers over to the General Assembly, for example, or body in white. And this way, Giga-Texas can dictate when and where the supplies are brought to the factory. And it's kind of an enhanced and improved version of just-in-time manufacturing. And of course, by using the warehouse on wheels, Giga-Texas is able to spare a lot of space within the factory itself, where otherwise it would just be loaded up with a bunch of parts. In this case, they're using the trailers in the warehouse on wheels yard as their storage location. And this is one of the reasons, the primary reasons, why there are so few Giga-Texas loading docks as compared to Giga Berlin or Giga Shanghai. It's a different concept and much more efficient. If you've been watching my videos, you've heard me say that the amount of trailers that are present is a direct correlation to the way production is occurring and how the ramp may be going. What I saw in my previous video, and I'll point it out here, is over near the secondary entrance on the east side, we've seen more of the trailers. This is a temporary location for expansion as more and more trailers are showing up on site. And again, this is a very positive sign, but it's only temporary. The solution is to expand the warehouse on wheels yard where it is already located. And as you can see by this image, this entire area used to be for material storage and staging, but it's all being cleared out, and this is where the yard will expand. And this is yet another very positive sign about how production is progressing at Giga-Texas. So there you have it, a little bit of discussion on what warehouse on wheels is, how it operates, how it is employed here at Giga-Texas, what are the benefits for doing so, and how it affects the number of cargo loading bays at Giga-Texas as opposed to other Tesla Gigafactories. I hope that you found all of this helpful and informative and helps you understand more about what we're seeing on the site as production continues to ramp.
Well, I hope that you like those pre-dawn flights across the west side of the building and looking inside the windows as much as I could. I hope that you found the information about the warehouse on wheels helpful, and a lot more in the video, a lot of narration as well, so make sure you take a look at all of that. Again, thank you very much for watching.
My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. We begin on the northwest corner area just before dawn to try to give you a look inside the building along this entire length. And the lighting worked out for most of this, but towards the end it got a little bit light outside. But here you can see what the northwest corner now of the battery cell production area looks like today. That crane you see in the foreground, eventually there will be solar panels delivered here, and then that crane will be used to put them up on top of the roof. But as we wrap around the corner, we can see the second and third floors now are very full of personnel, equipment. Second floor looks like it's a workshop or workplace area with tables and computers. The third floor is where battery cell production for the 4680s takes place, and as you can see, quite a few of the equipment is operational now, not only through testing and further ramping, but also producing 4680s. We know from what Tesla said is that ramp is continuing, and hopefully by the end of this year, going into 2023, that ramp will really hit full scale production. On the bottom of the screen, you can see inside the loading platform area for the 4680 cell production building. And on the top floor, we can see more of the fitting out and expanding production area for the 4680s. The second floor is remarkably empty at this particular time, which is kind of interesting, but I would expect to see more installed there at some point. But as we continue to the south, we can see the transition from the production of the batteries themselves to, on the third floor, this is where the structural packs are put together and formed, and a lot of that is done through these automated machines that you see on the third floor. Again, the second floor looks like it's still being fitted out, but it becomes the main area where the headquarters building and operations takes place. On the third floor again, you can see more of the production of the structural packs and possibly where the 2170s are being put together into packs as well for the Model Ys, now that we know that Giga-Texas is doing that. As we continue along here, the second floor is more of the headquarters and main offices. The third floor, if you were at Cyber Rodeo, you would know that this has been filled up tremendously. In fact, where this little divider is, it used to be an actual temporary wall, and that has now been removed. We continue to move towards the south. You can see how much of the activity is going on the third floor. Quite a bit of deliveries of possibly production equipment, all in those containers. And you can see in the background quite a bit of those wooden crates that we've seen delivered and then moved inside the building. And I believe that a lot of this may be for production of maybe the Cybertruck or future products, and also be part of the General Assembly 2 and 3 as they fit those out. As we continue more to the south, this area here you can see is full with more crates and production equipment waiting to be installed. Now that we've passed that particular area, we are now where the factory is expanding, and you can see there's not a lot of light or activity that we can see through the third floor. You can see we are now at the main entrance, and this is where the shareholder meeting took place, and all that has been cleared out now. And we continue more towards the south. I'm trying to give you a view into the second floor to kind of get an idea of how they may be fitting things out. But as you can see, it's dark inside and the light outside is starting to make it difficult to look inside the structure. So instead, we'll look at these loading bays. This is that new location with the metal ramp, and you can also see another metal ramp, that black and red one. This is the one that I talked about that was on the west material storage area for a while, and it also looks like a third ramp is being assembled next to these cargo bays, which not only now have been commissioned, but you can see trucks are bringing supplies to this particular location and continues to fit out General Assembly 2 and 3. Looking through the windows, you can kind of see how that area is open to the first floor. Still a lot of empty space in this location, but towards the south end there's more crates and equipment that have been delivered as well. So that looking inside is no longer really possible here. I'm going to go ahead and move the drone around to the south, and we'll wrap around the southwest corner and take a look at the superchargers. You can see the activity here has increased. They've removed all the wrappers on the superchargers, and they are doing final checkouts and wiring to get this location operational. So another great sign, and I'm looking forward to seeing Model Ys charging here pretty soon. Now as we continue towards the parking lot and loading area, you can see many more Model Ys have been produced on the west side, the far west side. This location seems to be not quite static, but cars are moved in and out. Some are moved to the transport area, but some of them have been sitting here for a little period of time, and I'm not sure exactly why. Again, they may be 4680 versions waiting for additional components. I also was able to see what the purpose of this tent is now, and with this close-in view, what we can see is that this is actually a wash rack, and maybe after they've done some testing with the vehicles, or if they just need to be cleaned up ahead of transport. But as you can see, this is where that takes place. I think that they're using ionized water or deionized water to keep the water spots off during this, but the tent also helps keep the sun off and keeps the spotting action from washing the cars down to a minimum. The ramp is, that loading platform is busy, and the crane ready to move more parts up to the second floor. And I'm going to try to give you a view inside the stamping extension. Again, this is very difficult with the angle and all of the traffic, but as you can see inside this structure, quite a bit of work is being done on the ground level, and some assembly of some steel. There's also some barriers or dividers preventing driving into where they have excavations. There's more steel that's been put in this location, and you can see a very deep pit, and you can see some of the workers in that pit as they're working to fill that area out and do more construction. So again, a lot going on in there, difficult to view, and I hope that you at least appreciate the attempt to try to see inside there. Here's another development for today. The crews are now back at the painting location, and it looks like they are preparing to continue some more of the color or painting. The company is called Nakal, as you can see on that truck. They are a company that specializes in concrete staining on a large industrial scale, which makes sense. And I'm kind of curious to see what they do in this particular location. Looks like some more white paint has been attached, or at least put onto the walls now, so very interesting. As we pan the drone around the west side, or correction, the east side, you can see how that particular yard area looks. The horizontal drilling in the pipe pool has now moved to a different location, and they're starting the drilling for the smaller of the two pipes, and I'll show you that on a future video. But another development I wanted to show you is here in the south material storage area and fabrication for steel parts. You can see now they are putting in the initial roadway that will go through this location. And I believe, based on information I've had in the past, that this is the start of a perimeter road that will wrap around near the Colorado River all the way over to the east side, possibly towards the battery cathode plant. Workers are busy with more of the steel parts in this location, preparing them for either fabrication or for movement to other site locations as needed. This is a quick view across the highway onto that southwest side and the material storage location. You can see there's actually a privacy fence put on the south side now, and I will try to get closer views of that in the next video. This is a good overall view of the south end and how all of it appears today, and continues to have a lot of progress, changing, and just expansion, especially of that material storage location on the south side. As we continue north along the east side of the building, a few things I want to show you. First, you can see the temporary platform. There's been a lot of crates moved here and then lifted up onto that platform and then moved inside the second floor of the body in white. I would expect to see a similar event inside there as we saw on the west side of the General Assembly with all of those crates and production equipment. The new loading dock apron area continues to have some excavation, and you can see they're working on some of the doorways of these 5 southerly cargo bays, which is cool to see. Hopefully we'll see some rebar and concrete soon. I'm moving back this way because I want to show you the material storage location, and a lot of the crates, those are similar to the ones that have been moved into the General Assembly in the body in white. But also notice this, they are now re-excavating a lot of this dirt, and in the previous video I speculated that this dirt is really just a temporary holding location, and it in fact looks this way. As they excavate some of the dirt and put them into the trucks, they are then driving over to the east side, and I will show you that shortly where a lot of that dirt is being placed. But this is that what I believe is the temporary warehouse on wheel expansion lot, and they're using this future parking lot for a lot of the trailers while they are preparing to expand the current warehouse on wheels, or WOW yard, and I'll show you that shortly. But as we continue to look at the east parking lot, we can see this parking for new cars and transport area continuing to get the light pole bases and other preparation, and also with the road around the area. So hopefully we should see new vehicles and transports there soon. So this is a very good look at that warehouse on wheels, or WOW location, or the yard as it's called. On the bottom left of the screen you can see those yard trucks. Those are the last mile trucks that we discussed, and they move these containers over to the building when and where they are needed, and it's part of that whole WOW concept that we discussed in the intro. I'm pulling back here to show you where some of those trucks that we talked about, that clearing area by the outfall channel for the sedimentation basin. It's being excavated, put on the trucks, and now they're bringing them over into this location, and it looks like they are raising the grade in this place. This is also near where the cyber planters were constructed. You can see that in the bottom left-hand corner of the site. So this entire location is being cleared out for future activities, and it'll be interesting to see what they do here as this area continues to develop. I also want to fly along the yard and show you another area where the dirt is being brought, and they're using this to change the grade as well. This entire location, possibly even where we see some of the trailers and some of the equipment, is being cleared out to expand that warehouse on wheels yard. Particularly this clearing that we see right at the foreground. The crews are rapidly removing all of the equipment, the steel, and all the materials that have been stored here so that they can expand this yard. That's another excellent sign for the production ramp that is happening at Giga-Texas, and also is preparing for the expansion of the General Assembly lines as we get closer towards the end of this year and get into 2023, when we start seeing production of at least test vehicles for the Cybertruck and maybe some other products as well. I'm going to fly towards the entrance of the WOW yard and show you the sign. There's been a few people who have commented that they don't believe that this is a WOW yard. Well, here is the actual sign, and some of my sources that I've talked to on site refer to this as the warehouse on wheels yard as well. So I think that helps put those concerns to rest. So now we're going to fly quickly over to the battery cathode plant, and along the way you can see how the yard appears on that eastern side and where it is in relation to the battery cathode plant. And there's a lot to see in this location, so we'll go ahead and go through it, and I hope that you enjoy this tour as well. What's immediately obvious as we approach the building is that the second, third, and roof decking continues to be installed at a really rapid pace, and now it's past 3/4, maybe 80% of the building now has all of those decking materials installed. You can see a new temporary staircase on that northeast corner. You can see crews are finishing up some of the hardware installation. Also, others are installing the decking and the roof decking. And we can also see some of the preparation here with rebar on these locations where the decking has been in place, and this will be able to extend the concrete soon. Once that is poured, about 80% of the building will have concrete on the second and third floors. We also see crews here preparing and welding on the mounts for the concrete walls, and they continue to march their way towards the north as well. And also, I noticed on my previous video on the west side of the highway on the north end that there was a specialized concrete truck and supporting equipment, and that is the same as what we saw over the roof of the battery cell location, and that is a sprayed on lightweight concrete, and that is probably what we're going to see put on the roof here once they're ready for it. So I'll be continuing to watch for that. But if you remember back about a year ago when they were building the battery cell portion of the main factory and they were spraying on the concrete, it'll be the same thing. And it helps seal and stabilize the roof, and it gives it a very, very durable roofing that the final materials, the weatherproof materials, will be installed on. But this view here gives you an idea of just how close to the north end the roof and the second and third floor decking truly is. And we're going to continue to wrap around this western side and get you a closer look at how the utility installation is going on this west side as well. You can note underneath the second floor on that ground dirt area that more trenching and utility installation is continuing as well. You can also see on the third floor more of the man lifts, those yellow man lifts, so they can reach the ceiling and start installing some of the ducting for the HVAC. And then as we continue to this portion of the structure, we can see how most of this area has been filled in. All of the trenches for the conduit and the pipes have been completed. So let's go ahead and quickly move over towards the electrical substation and megapack construction site. And there is a few more developments. As we said in the last video, there were crews out surveying and preparing to begin or resume the work in this area, and that's because the permits are in the final approval process so that the work can continue. As we pass over this water detention pond, on the right-hand side, you can see more crews near that white truck preparing for work to continue, and also see some more earth-moving materials and vehicles arriving. We also see here more of these concrete water pipes have been delivered, and this is starting to expand significantly. This will be coupled with the metal corrugated pipes that you see on the left to do the stormwater drainage from the detention pond and connect to the main water management system for the larger site. As we fly over these power lines, I'll drop back down. I want to show you that there is resumed electrical conduit work. First place that we notice it is here in this location with these vaults. And as you can see, they're starting to trench towards the north. They have some extra piping, so this will continue to progress to the north to connect eventually to the megapack and the electrical substation when the construction continues. And then as we fly over here onto the parking lot, you can see on the left-hand side, just coming into view, that they have one of those covers removed, and this is where the electrical conduit, or at least some of it, passes underneath the parking lot here, and then it works its way over to the northeast corner of the casting machine structure. You can also see this trench here. It's a new trench, and it's also for more of the electrical conduit. So quite a bit of work going on to connect the future electrical substation and megapack to the building. We also see here the fenced off area with the cones. This is where the conduit approaches and then goes inside the casting machine structure. So this entire area is being worked on for electrical right now. These sort of framed devices or sections that you see here, I'm not really sure what those are. They're very interesting. If you happen to know, please leave your thoughts in the comments of the video. As we continue to wrap around the north side of the paint shop and also the plastics, the paint shop's on the left, the plastics on the right with the green, we can see more of the components going in for the modular paint system, now wrapped in white for the paint shop, and also some very interesting cone-like devices being brought in by the truck. And then on the plastics manufacturing facility, it looks like they're getting quite a bit of new machinery as well. Here at the 4680 battery production site, this is very interesting. A large section of some sort of production equipment for the 4680s has arrived, and I'm going to try to give you a good view of it. I do not know exactly what it is, but based on its size, the paint scheme, and the location of where it's going, specifically onto the third floor of this area, is it's most likely related to 4680 production, which is pretty interesting to see. So I'm going to give you a quick view of the northwest corner HVAC ducting and enclosure installation. Really not a whole lot of changes. You can see on the roof that the solar panel installation is expanding further to the south, and I will cover that on my future video. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, the early pre-dawn views inside and the discussion on the warehouse on wheels. Thank you again for watching.